My name's Julie Poole. I'm a spiritual empowerment coach. I'm a tarot reader and YouTuber. I had a reasonably normal childhood till the age of about 5 or 6 years old. But I was, as all children are, highly intuitive. We are born psychic. We're very aware. Children will have imaginary friends and see things and be aware of things. And they're very intuitive to energy, as I was. But things really took a big turn when I was around about 8 years old. I'm not sure if I was 7, 8, or 9, but it was around that time. My parents had split up, my father had left, and my mother had not coped at all. She had fallen apart on every level. And so she was pretty absent within her grief and depression and, the things that she was dealing with. So I lost my mum as well as my dad, if you like. My dad would still visit, but not very often. But what happened was I was then a extremely lonely child, neglected child, frightened child. And I was befriended by a very unwell, sick man who completely took advantage of my innocence and my youth. It culminated in a very unpleasant and traumatic incident, as it would be for a child. And during that incident, which I'm sure you can put two and two together without me going into too much detail, but during that incident, I lost consciousness. The weight of him on my little body, I just couldn't breathe. I lost consciousness. I was being hugely traumatized and abused, and I left my body. And the next thing, I had just lifted up out of my body. And the next thing I knew, I was sitting high up in a tree on a branch, really high up in the sky. This incident was happening in woodland, and it was under a tree. And I was just up and I was sitting on this branch, and I felt complete peace and complete calm, and there was no pain. There was no sense of panic. All of those feelings that I had been feeling were completely gone. And there was a man sat next to me on the tree, and he was so kind and gentle, and I completely trusted him. He was very white and shimmery, but I could see him clearly. I didn't know who he was, but he was saying to me, "Look at me. Don't worry about what's going on down there. You just look at me." And he was talking to me. And he was showing me the birds, and he was showing me, "Look at that lovely bird up there. Let's look at that." He completely distracted all of my attention, and I was totally in the energy with him. The kindness, the love, the gentleness, everything just felt so absolutely beautiful. I don't know how long I was there, but it was magical. I didn't want to go. It was just lovely. And then after a little while, he said, "It'll be time to go back down now. And when you do, it won't feel very nice, but you're going to be okay. And I want you to know that I am your friend and I am here for you. And you can speak to me and reach out to me anytime you want to." And I said to him, "Thank you very much. And what's your name?" And he said, "My name is Jesus, and I am always there." He said, "My real name is Yeshua, but you can call me Jesus, and I will always be there for you." And then the next thing I knew, I was in my body, and it wasn't nice. But I went home from that experience. I never saw that man again, and I was done with that. And from that point forward, I started spending a lot of time going to my local church where I could find my friend Jesus and have a chat with him. And after a little while, he started appearing on the bottom of my bed, and we would talk at night. And he talked to me about angels and lights and energy and God. And we continued that relationship for the next 10 years. The near-death experience happened again when I was 21. I had left that abusive relationship and I was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, all right, PTSD, after something like 15 years of abuse, physically, mentally, sexually, emotionally. I was absolutely a wreck. And the only part of my life that made sense was my spiritual connections. It's the only time I felt safe. And I knew I was safe with spirit. I knew life was pretty hard and I wasn't coping at all. The depression, the anxiety, the panic attacks, the low self-worth, the self-disgust, all of those feelings just became completely overwhelming, to the point where I just made the decision, I can't do this. This is too hard. I can't live like this. I can't live with this trauma that I wake up with every day, the constant fear, the flashbacks. I can't do it. So I made the decision, I'm going home. I know where home is and I know it's love and I don't want to be here anymore. So I took a massive overdose of the various pills that I had been given. And they were a combination of a load of paracetamol, a load of Valium, tranquilizers, and sleeping pills. I took everything I had in the house that I had been given, and I was ready. I made my peace with life and said, thanks for having me. I don't want to stay. I'm going home. Bye bye. I took the whole lot and I went to bed, perfectly expecting to, that was it, done, dusted, off we go. This wasn't a cry for help. This was an absolute determination that I am done with this life. Now, I remember just falling asleep in absolute happiness that I wouldn't have to wake up ever again and, face that same pain. What they did was I suddenly saw my guides and my angels around me, and then they lifted me up and took me up to the higher realms. And I just remember saying, I'm going home. And they said, no, you're not. It's not your time. And so I remember it was pretty vague, but I remember being in a place which I now know to be the angelic realms. And there was a huge amount of spiritual energy, people, beings, angels around me, healing me. They were determined that I was not going to die and they were going to heal me. I don't know how long I was there, but I do remember arguing with them and saying, no, I don't want to heal. I don't want to go back. I'm not going back there. And they said, yes, you are. You've got a lot of work to be done. You agreed to this. You planned this. We did tell you at the time that it would be a very hard beginning in your life. And I was saying to them, I don't understand. What do you mean? And they said, your soul chose this, including all of the abuse and all of the nastiness. And we did say to you that what you wanted to accomplish in this lifetime would normally take 3 lifetimes. However, you, being the determined and very stubborn soul that you are, decided you wanted to do it in one. And we did warn you it would be too hard and too overwhelming. So here you are at 21 trying to check out. It's not your time. So we have to heal you enough to go back. But we can tell you that you will, in the second half of your life, find enormous peace and be able to help enormous amounts of people. This pain will not go on forever. Please let us help you and work with us. So I agreed. They did tell me that my time, and I was 21 at the time, they said, it's not your time to go. You'll be going when you're 67. And when you're 21, 67 feels very, very old and a long, long way away. So I made the deal with them. All right, I'll go back till I'm 67. So there was just then a lot of white light, a lot of peace, a lot of acceptance, no more resistance. And the next thing I know, I woke up in my body. And it was 3 days later. I had just slept for the 3 days and then I woke up. And so in addition to that, we have AI coming up, which is to open us up to even more, to help us even more. And my team tell me that, which I know anyway, there has been a lot of activity from what we would call ETs, aliens, right? These are beings of light who are more advanced than us technologically and in every other way. They have been visiting us for many, many, many years, and they've been helping us for many, many years. And they do visit, and they have visited, and they have been seen. But the powers that be have managed to cloak it, have managed to hide it. We will see over the next 6, 8 years more and more sightings. And because of the internet and mobile phones and iPhones being able to take photos, it will become harder and harder for the powers that control to be able to pretend that it wasn't that. So basically, yes, we do have visitations. Please don't fear them. These beings that can come from far galaxies with incredible technology are not here to hurt us. They are here to help us. They are also here to protect us. If they feel that we are, for example, getting out of control with being trigger happy with nuclear stuff, they will come in and they will stop it. They will not let us blow ourselves up. They will not let us destroy this planet. They will step in. So over the next 5 or 6 years, we will see. And I think particularly there's going to be some sightings early in 2025. And then there's going to be a lot happening around 28, 29. Where there will be more and more sightings, and we're talking landings, and them not being able to deny it anymore. Um, and we will start to embrace the technology that is available in other dimensions and galaxies and universes. And just trust that it's just getting better. It won't be I was just going to say, well, it won't be much to see in the rest of my lifetime because I've only got about another 20, 25 years left. But for those of you who are younger, I promise you, by the time you get to 2040, 2050, this is going to be such a better world. So when we're going through these changes, you can either see it as something to be feared, or you can see it as the dawn of the golden age. And we are all, each of us, doing our part. So stay in the love, stay in the truth, and stay in the hope. All right.